Saturday to everybody out there in crypto land. I hope you're doing all right. Judging by the recent moves in the crypto market, I'm sure a lot of you are feeling pretty good. We've added like 20 billion in the last couple of days to the overall crypto market cap. I wanted to get on here and talk about a couple of concepts, some cryptos, and some other things going on in the world that is freaking people out, and maybe just to give my two aware cents in on the subjects. First of all, yeah, Bitcoin's back over 8,000. That's good for Bitcoin. I think 8,000 is going to be a support. We might trade sideways between like 7,500 and 8,500 for the next couple of weeks. It's a possibility. We might go higher. We'll see what the next few days holds. One of the projects I really wanted to cover is Ultra again. I know I've talked about it in the past, and I thought I had yesterday in the shower. I was thinking about it, and Chico Crypto actually mentioned it earlier today. I'm like, dang it, I had to get on these quicker. But thinking, because they're gonna be switching over to the DPoS, similar to EOS, and that's it's not good for EOS so far. I think because it's shown that it's corruptible. Like, it's not good for a decentralized of the people kind of blockchain system, because it's easily to game it and get groups in control of the nodes and doing confirmations and stuff. But if it were more for like private companies or like a more centralized, decentralized type platform, it could work out really well. And it seems like the Ultra might be going that route, because they got the partnerships with AMD and their partnership with Ubisoft, one of the biggest gaming platforms. And the thought I had in the shower is like, so what if in the future, one of the ways that they approach distributing content to people, especially because we're going to have more like subscription model type settings and just all these different, you get Activision Blizzard, different gaming companies wanting to have a way that they can distribute games in a centralized kind of manner, but on a decentralized, but they can all kind of help hold up this centralized platform. So it's like decentralized, centralized kind of a thing. I know, dualistic, right? So yeah, imagine you have a bunch of different companies that are making gaming platforms or involved in making stuff that goes into gaming, like AMD with their chips and stuff like that, holding up block producer positions on this overall network, and they start integrating all the different levers, whether it's just the gaming aspect, or over here they can build a social networking platform like they're doing on EOS, and over here they can build like an Amazon type store based on the Ultra platform that focuses on gaming. But then you can get into like technology and computers and all kinds of stuff, right? But you build out around the focus of gaming with Ultra. So that was a thought I was having yesterday, and again, it's not for the whole decentralized theme where people are in control, but if companies are starting to move towards this, where they want to especially get more, because right now you can buy a game, especially if you get it physically, you can buy a game, play it for a little bit, then give it to your friend. And that's what they don't like, because they want your friends to buy those games. So if they got all their games on this platform where you're buying it kind of digital versions on a blockchain, they're going to make it so you can't just give it to somebody else, or maybe somebody else will have to buy it. I know that doesn't sound good to some people, but we're thinking here, this is again thinking how businesses think and whatnot. I don't know, I could just see a bunch of people getting on board with this. You already got Ubisoft, AMD have partnered up with Ultra. They're making partnerships. They're only on a few exchanges. That's why the volume is so low. I know that's one of the things you want to keep an eye on when you're looking at different projects, but don't sleep on Ultra. Check it out. Here's a little thing where they talk about Ultra's partner with Ubisoft, whatever you want to say it. And I think that's just going to keep growing over time. They're part of the Blockchain Game Alliance, which a lot of other companies are. And gaming is one of the ways to gain mass adoption. That's how it really started. Go back and look how we start with Brock Pierce and all these digital items and stuff, and Mt. Gox, where that originally started, gaming. And it's going to be one of the avenues to the future success of blockchain. So keep an eye on that. Next one I wanted to re-look at is Ren. I know I talked about it in the past. It's been doing well the last couple of days. Look at, it was down at 3.1. Now it's 4.7. One of the reasons is because they're really starting to ramp out and show how the Ren VM can take things like Bitcoin Cash, and Zcash, and bring them to Ethereum. And this is like I've covered things on PegNet. It's kind of like that. They're taking other assets and putting it on PegNet and bringing it to the Factom protocol. And now they've gotten listed on IDEX, so they're a part of Ethereum. But this is directly into the Ethereum ecosystem. You go from these into the, and it's dark nodes, so it's a little bit more private and hidden from what other people want to do. And then once you get in, I imagine soon, it looks like what they're doing here is all these Ren tokens will then be available on all the different Ethereum DeFi apps. You got Kyber Network, Radar Relay, MakerDAO, DYDX, all these different ones. That's a whole, yeah. So it's opening up, and they're not just going to stop with Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Zcash. They're going to start adding all the Litecoin, probably all the major cryptocurrencies that will have some support on the network. And again, this is introducing all these other cryptos to the Ethereum ecosystem, and you'll be able to trade them and paying fees and gas for Ethereum. And once that gets even more robust, probably the fees will drop. So yeah, check out, don't sleep on Ren. This is a pretty nice layout. They're not messing around anymore. They got decent digital designers and everything starting to put their stuff together. So yeah, Ren, it's one of my favorite projects for a long time now. We'll see how it goes. It looks like they're adding a key component to the whole DeFi ecosystem. Don't sleep on it. Again, next is Cosmos. The reason Cosmos it popped up from like $4 to $4.50 is because Coinbase is launching. Cosmos is launching on Coinbase Pro. So we've seen how that goes in bed. I don't know. We'll see how if the Coinbase effect still has an effect. Part of me is thinking similar to how they've done it with Tezos. Coinbase is again looking to the future. Cosmos looks like it's going to be an integral coin, at least in the beginning parts of this whole transfer over into crypto because of interoperability. And with Coinbase already offering Tezos staking, right now Cosmos isn't easy to stake. You can delegate it. You have to know some coding on some aspects of it from what I've looked into, or you have to trust exchanges and put your coins on them like KuCoin and stuff like that, which a lot of people aren't willing to do. But Coinbase is kind of the accepted top crypto exchange in the US, and it's possible that after you'll see them go on Coinbase Pro. Once that liquidity builds, they'll add Cosmos over to Coinbase regular, the front facing one, and possibly at some point in the near future they'll be like, we support staking for Cosmos. Bam! So look into Adam. Again, I mentioned in the previous video, I was really looking at it, I'm like, I need to buy it. I didn't buy it then. I had to wait till now, and I bought it at this. It went up 10%, and I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, look into Cosmos. It's launching on Coinbase Pro. Coinbase is still the mainstay for the United States. So yeah. Ethereum Classic, I talked about it in the last video. Again, I think it's going to keep getting a bump because Ethereum's rolling out. Look at the volume for Ethereum Classic. That's $1 billion. That's no longer in the millions. That's $1 billion. Volume's going up. I know I read an article that said all the volume, 90-some% of the volume for all altcoins is wash trading and false. True, not true. Probably some truth to everything. But it's going up. You got some of the bigger funds. I can't remember the name of them. But yeah, they were early. I think they had them and then they split after the DAO hack. And you have Ethereum proper now and Ethereum Classic, which was the original Ethereum. I think a lot of those people, I think they're going to jump on it because they have a bigger control of Ethereum Classic, honestly. They control more of the coins. So when it ramps up and they want to distribute it to especially Americans or all these different investors, they can just distribute that because Ethereum's actually more decentralized and out there. So they're going to pump it more, and it'll not necessarily overtake Ethereum, who knows, but at least have bigger multiples, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. None of this is investment advice, by the way. This is all just speculation, and like I like knowledge, and I like sharing my knowledge. So here you go, knowledge. But yeah, Ethereum Classic has done well. I think I got into it again on Coinbase. I bought some at like $3.86, so that's turned out well recently. Yeah, Ethereum Classic. And like, come over here, look at their Twitter page. They're really making it backwards compatible with Ethereum. So if anything goes wrong with this Ethereum crossover, or people just want to not be so on the Ethereum network, they want to be a little different or whatever, they can migrate over to Ethereum Classic, no sweat. The Viper language is going to be there. I know they're having, I think it's going to move away from Solidity over to Viper just because it's a little bit more user-friendly for some people. Yeah, keep an eye on Ethereum, Chainlink. Yeah, Dash just blew up, right? Whew, Dash, done well. Synthetics network has been hit hard. Why? A lot of it was because of where it was at. Look at that. Oh, it's gone up. Now it's actually most on Kyber network. That's good for the DeFi space, right? But it was all on KuCoin. And again, when these prices rump up like this, you got one or two little. This is anybody that was in 2017 will remember this. Like when it's on one exchange, it's hard to get out of a coin. Even if it says there's some liquidity, even there at the top, it's like 161,000, and a lot of that is bots just going back and forth. Little tiny amounts traded. When there's just a bunch of little tiny trades, that's clearly wash type trading. And I get it; they need to keep things moving and attract attention. But that being said, I think there's still legitimacy to the synthetics network. It's not like all that was there is gone now. I think possibly as the whole crypto market is starting to ramp up, token holders that had held it from way down here when it was 7 cents, even now, 7.3 cents, selling it now at 78 cents is more than 10x, right? So people are like, oh, crypto, alt season, yeah, let's dump this, get out. And there was probably big whales getting out. Wait for it to settle. This is what I'm going to do with synthetic. I haven't bought any yet. I've been waiting for a possible pullback because it jumped. I was going to buy it originally. I was looking at like 83 cents, I think, and then it shot up. I'm like, dang it, I missed it. But I know crypto, it'll pull back because nothing goes up forever. So it's coming back now. I'm going to wait for it to settle and see where it settles at. Watch tomorrow, wake up and it's $1. Whatever. So yeah, synthetics network, keep an eye on it. Watch it, wait for it to settle. See what you want to do. One of the DeFi ones that doesn't really get talked about, and I think it's because, from what I remember, Nexo is kind of backed by XRP Ripple. So there's this whole other thing going about, and they're in the background. And I remember even one article, it had a graph, and it showed down which DeFi projects were the best for and stick to the whole decentralized theme for the space. And Nexo was one of the worst. And like Celsius was over here, and then you had like Compound. But that being said, I think it's gonna serve a niche purpose, actually connected more to the traditional finance realm. Right now, they only offer interest, I believe, on the stable coins. So I keep some of my stable coins on there. I separate them out to different platforms. There's a link below if you want to check out Nexo. But slowly but surely, I think this price might steadily increase over time. The volume has been increasing and has been steadily in the millions. So keep an eye on Nexo. So that's most of the crypto information I had. There's some other things I want to get onto. It mostly revolves around what's developing in the world and this whole World War III brouhaha and all that stuff. And it starts mainly with this. Lately, you've been seeing a lot of people talking about divesting from oil and gas. And I've been seeing a lot of articles on both sides of it. And here you had Carney, who was involved with the banks. Mark Carney, I believe. I'm blanking on what he did now because I'm on live, or not live, but I'm on screen. That's how it goes. But anyways, talking about how the oil and gas industry is plagued with assets that are going to lose a lot of value. And this is true. They're just older assets as the value of oil goes down. And with the whole green economy and green revolution, they're really pushing out there right now. It seems like that's where a lot of the future money is going to be directed and away from oil. And a lot of people, especially on the other side, are saying this is crazy. Most of our energy currently and our whole system currently runs on oil. If you just start moving away from that, you're going to collapse the whole system, yada, yada, yada. Even how you're going to build all these windmills and all that stuff. It takes oil, so much coal burned in a steel mill to build those big windmills that we see. You can't really build them with the current green infrastructure. So even getting there is going to take a lot of oil along the way. But nonetheless, you see like people like Mark Carney and these, I've seen even big institutions. And remember, the big institutions and the big news media outlets are owned by the people that run everything. And everything they feed us through these is part and parcel to their overall agenda, good or bad, whatever you want to call it. So if they're pushing out this thing, and this guy, he's saying, because of, like if oil, something happened to the oil sector, some new energy came out that just dwarfed and was easily available to people, the oil industry would tank, right? But so much of our pensions and current investments are in the oil industry that it would bankrupt so much, so they can't just have that happen overnight. So you see a lot of these coming out, and they're pinning it to the whole green revolution. We need to invest in green technologies. I'm thinking, especially so, every generation or 20 years, so there's a new technological breakthrough. We had the internet kind of in the early 90s, 80s, early 90s. Smartphones in the early 2000s. Combine those two, we're getting the blockchain and all that stuff now, but there's a world-changing technology, and I think it's going to come in the energy sector. And they're playing a lot of things, making the green revolution to try it, but to me, they're pulling us away slowly and trying to get people's attachment to oil off so they can make this switch more easy. Because again, I've talked about it before, we do not change easily. So they're trying to, and the younger millennial and younger generations are already on. They're like, we need to stay at the planet. They're making it this dire cause. And this is another offshoot is World War III. Yeah, they've used World War III to like do different things, also cull the population and do different things in the past, but also to unite everybody. I think instead of a World War III this time, like, there's eventually going to be some big war because that's just the nature of this place. But currently, they don't think they want that. What they're doing to unite the people is making the global threat, global warming, global climate change, the green revolution, because everybody, all these countries are uniting against that thing. Think about it. Instead of having a war, I think I mentioned this, instead of having a war, they're causing this other existential threat that we all must face as a world together. And from that perspective, I'm all for it versus an actual World War III. Like, I get, even if it's the pure manipulation, they're making people buy solar panels and they don't really need to. Oh, yeah, there's debates, right? But from that level of uniting people together, that's much better, in my opinion. So if they don't want a World War III, they're making the climate catastrophe thing the World War III that we all must face together. And they're gonna use, then they use the old war machine to generate their money. That's why I say, and they're using that to manipulate, to get people to buy stuff in the new green economy. That's how they're going to make their money. They're going to switch from war to that, hopefully. That's what we're working on, right? But, so, they're going to be some new energy-related technology, in my opinion, in the 2020s. That's just going to change the whole global landscape. And that's why we're seeing stuff like this about trying to pull our attention away from oil and gas. So yeah, there's not going to be a World War III now. They're doing everything they can to try and calm tensions down. I think we're headed for a revamp and reshaping of the global energy infrastructure. And that's also going to, and why this involves cryptos. What is the old financial system based on? The PetroDollar. Again, this is all, if it's PetroDollar, if oil goes away and the PetroDollar system is what governs the world reserve currency, that's going away too. They can't just switch it over to something else. So we're gonna have some new system arise out of it, whether it's from the U.S. pushes it or what. I think it's gonna be a global thing. Again, this is a global World War III type. We need to fight climate change. The outcome will be a global currency that we all use to contribute towards this problem of climate change. They're gonna be, how can we tax everybody on every country to contribute towards this problem, or not tax, or how do we get them? We have a currency that they all can contribute in. So we're seeing that with cryptos. We're seeing different places arise. I think a lot of the staked coins in Ethereum, Ethereum and Monero are mined mainly over in Europe. The dominant proportion of Bitcoin is mined over in China. But again, with the mining, and I've said this before, long term, just seeing how fast they're ramping out new mining chips, how much the units cost, you can lose. The value that you can generate from one unit can be gone within a year, and you're getting these massive farms built with these units. So every year or two, you have to completely replace all the equipment. It's going to become unsustainable eventually. And again, that's for the big corporations. The small people ain't going to have anything to do with it, right? So there might be like the main currency of the world. Like a Bitcoin could be like a proof of work, and it has all the countries, almost like distributed nodes on a DPoS system, but mining type. contributing towards keeping this whole network running, and that's why it will keep them from trying to game the system, because they're all contributing to it functioning together. Then it'll be really hard to crack. But aside from that, for what other people and even corporations at that level and smaller companies down to individuals, it's going to be proof of stake or some other proof of reality, proof of social media, proof of something that people can do and get involved with on a smaller level and possibly build and work their way up in wealth in. So those are some of my thoughts. Those are some of the cryptos I'm interested in. Litecoin popped off recently pretty well too. Keep an eye on those ones. Again, Litecoin's got the 3 billion. Yeah, it goes like, what is it? Bitcoin, Tether, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin as far as volume goes. EOS, Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin SV almost doubled recently. Is that, or like at least 50% up. Anyways, that's your crypto awareness for today. Remember, it's not about what you do. It's about being aware of what you do. With awareness comes choice and change. I hope everybody out there has a great weekend, and I will catch you later.